Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Some people are so dumb that I genuinely wonder how they survive from one day to the next. And then I remember that jellyfish have survived for 650 million years with no brain. So I guess if they can do it.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, happy Saturday, Facebook. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. It's nice to see you all here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so as you come in this morning. We've got the docket. I finally have got the docket. I know that some of this stuff has already come out. We're going to be monitoring it. We're going to be covering a few things this morning. We're going to be covering this docket with Bryan Kohberger and going over, and I'm going to show you guys everything that's on it. A lot of stuff has been sealed. Some stuff has been redacted, but we're going to go through it. So everybody knows and has seen everything associated with the case. But there's also another part of this case, and that is the press association and all like the 30 news organizations that are appealing the judge's ruling to seal all this stuff in this court record. They're fighting to say, hey, there's other less restrictive measures she can take for this particular case. What she's doing is entirely too restrictive, and it's hindering the press. And at the end of the day, there's freedom of press, and this is a public trial of this gentleman, and it is of great public concern to the general public, and therefore they're taking this to court. And so we're going to touch on that as well. You know, what's going on in that court record, court hearing? What are they saying? Are they going to be able to overcome this? Because many of us really are interested in this case and want to know what happened. The family of these victims want to know what happened to their loved one. How did this come about? And how did they identify Bryan Kohberger? Now, we've read the Brett Payne affidavit, but it's an affidavit. That's just alleging what they've seen, you know, their facts. That doesn't necessarily mean it's convicted. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do believe that they have the right guy. Now that we understand what kind of information they get from that digital profile, the digital trail, the digital evidence, we know, you know, from the Alec Murdaugh trial, how important it is. And we did get a taste of that in the Brett Payne affidavit, that they, you know, are monitoring his phones. They are monitoring his movements in that particular car. You know, we know that they took the car in when they arrested Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania. And we haven't heard back what was actually, well, we did find out a little bit of stuff that was found in the car, such as the gloves and the shovel and some other things that would be of concerning to normal people. But, you know, people from, you know, states that snow say, hey, we all have shovels in our car. So it's possible that it's associated with the snow and everything like that. But before we get ahead of ourselves, just want to say good morning to everybody. Jenny from the block, first to say good morning this morning. Much love from Tampa. So you're one of my new neighbors, or not my new neighbors, you're one of my close neighbors, just over the bridge. Nice to see you. Clorinda, Miss Potty Mouth, Z.A., Patricia, Julie, Donna, Van Lady in the house, Cranky Pants. Who else do we have? Just Samantha. I've been hearing you on here. I don't know who is using clickbait titles and stuff like that. I have to be honest with you. I think everybody that's into true crime or anything like that, even, you know, the documentaries they put together, they are clickbaity titles. But I did read through some of the stuff, and it's about the knife. I've actually brought up the knife myself because there were several knives that were collected, but like one said pocket knife. I think one said a different type of knife. And then there's this one that just says knife. It doesn't describe the knife. So it leaves it up for interpretation. Could it possibly be the murder weapon? You know, the law enforcement has lied to us. We know they've lied to us in the past related to this case. So, you know, is there a reason that they didn't describe the particular knife, but they described the other knives? I don't know. We've even brought that up here when we went over that evidence sheet from Pennsylvania. We have the documents from the Pennsylvania case as well. So it's nice to see you here, May, just an old lady. Who else do we have? And Angel, nice to see you. Sharon, Tammy. Who else? Brandy's in the house. Jennifer L. Jennifer L, thank you again. Jennifer's been just going through it. She's had her surgery. She's got her stitches out. She's doing better. She doesn't dance, but she's close to dancing. Actually, she's got a little while, but God bless her and everybody else that is dealing with, you know, illness or just in a funk. Christine, nice to see you. Mimi's Mysteries, Mary, nice to see you. And Akita Lover, nice to see you. Who else do we have? We have Princess and Pirate. I like that. It's cute. Texas Life Julie, Midnight Nurse Carla, nice to see you here this morning. Patty, Deborah, Deetra, Jean, and who else? Is anybody else? Belinda in the house, nice to see you. We have a Candace, Michelle, nice to see you. Misty, Amanda, Blake. Oh, Karen Davis, good morning. I don't think I said hi to you either, Sonia. So good morning to you. We got Sweetie Pie. Silent, I'm going to say silent. Silent Assassins, that's cute. Deborah, Domino Queen, it's nice to see you. If I missed you, bring the jury. See if there's anybody else in here that I might have missed. I think I said hi to you, Blake. I think I got everybody. JD's mama, nice to see you. Jules, nice to see you. Sweet as sugar. Mad Chatter. Mad Chatter, nice to see you. I think I got everybody. If I missed you, help me, Rhonda. I see you in the chat as well. If I happen to miss you, I do apologize. Good morning to all. Good morning to all. And without further ado, we are getting back to the language of letting go. And I actually like this. I was reading it as we were doing the intro. And May 11th is Things Happen. You know, this is the one where we're dealing with manipulators. We're dealing with setting healthy boundaries. And this one, and we just talked yesterday about letting go. Let it go. Let it be, right? We got Gabby Petito's head right behind me. You know, she was let it be. Her favorite song, her favorite saying. And today is Things Happen for March 11th. A healthy friend dies participating in a sport she loves. A husband works hard on his marriage only to come home one day to find his wife in bed with another man. A knock at the door, and a starving family opens it to find a bag of groceries piled anonymously on the porch. Large order comes in just as a company is ready to close its doors, and the owner's dreams is given new life. Sometimes life twists. Sometimes life goes the other way too. Things happen. Sometimes we label these events good, and some we label bad. We cannot always see the reason or the purpose in them, but most of us choose to believe there's a divine plan. I don't know why I received some of the blessings I've been given. I don't know why some of the sorrows has come my way. All I can do is trust that whatever comes my way, there's a lesson at hand. Our focus on circumstances of our life, and are we focusing on circumstances of our life instead of the lessons? The circumstances are tools. Be involved in them. Feel the pain of loss and the elation of victory. Let compassion work its way into your soul. Learn caring and kindness for others and yourself too. Instead of asking why, learn to ask, what is the lesson? The moment you become ready to accept it, the lesson will become clear. God, help me accept all the twists and turns in my path. Help me learn to say whatever to the good and the unfortunate incidents that come my way. The good and unfortunate incidences that come my way. And that's a good lesson too. I mean, we have to be thankful each and every day. We don't know what the reason for certain things happening to us is. But I can tell you, for me personally, I've talked about it all the time. If I'm packing up and something falls out on the floor, I grab it and put it in the bag. Because every time I don't do it, when I get to where I'm going, I look back and said, man, I needed that. I needed that. It's funny how that works out, but it's true. It's true. So I hope you guys get something from that. I'm going to go ahead and move on over here to the Bryan Kohberger case. We have the affidavit, the probable cause, the arrest warrant. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can read it. Is it going to let me get it bigger? There we go. So I hope you guys can see that. Let me move the banner down. There we go. Don't forget to hit the like button as you guys are coming in. That's the only requirement today. Hit the like button. So we go through this, and we've already seen a lot of this stuff here. You know, the invocation of rights, the order appointing public defender. You know, we're so far past this. We have court minutes. We might want to be reviewing something like that for the court minutes to see what's in there. Might be something that we can use or discuss. But this was back in January. So most of this stuff we've already looked at and have already discussed. So, you know, then we have the motion to appeal and amend and clarify the non-dissemination clause on here. But there's a lot of stuff that came in, and this, we're going to focus more on this bottom part, because this really does give us a good understanding of what they have going on. So we've got all this stuff here that's under seal, but guess what this is telling us? Guess what this is telling us? This is telling us all the stuff, all the places that they have searched. All the places that they have searched. So state's response to the first supplemental request for discovery. So we have discovery. Discovery is the evidence. So basically what they're saying, and I wonder if they'll let us see what's in here. So here is the state's response to defendant's first request for supplemental discovery. To the defendant, Bryan Kohberger and counsel, come now, the state of Idaho, by and through Latah County prosecuting attorney submits the following response to the defendant's first supplemental request for discovery. The state incorporates its January 23rd, 2023 state's response to request for discovery as it fully sets forth at this point. The state has and will continue to provide a discovery in accordance with Idaho Criminal Rule 16 and applicable laws. So they're saying that they deliver that. So it's saying that their response back on the 23rd should be sufficient. So let's go back to the 23rd and see what they have stated. Okay, so here it is. Here's the discovery that the defense is actually, hey guys, nice to see you, lovely lyrics, nice to see you. And anybody else that is coming in that I haven't said hi to, Kathy Baker, nice to see you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button while guys are coming in here. So here's the discovery. Any relevant written recorded statements made by the defendant or copies thereof within the possession, custody, or control of the state, the existence of which is known or is available to the prosecuting attorney by exercise of due diligence, and also substance of any relevant oral statements made by the defendant, whether before or after the arrest, to the peace officer, prosecuting attorney, or prosecuting attorney's agent have been or will disclose or otherwise make available. See Exhibit A. So this is their request and the response. So it looks like they're referring us to Exhibit A. I wonder if Exhibit A is on here. Police reports and documents covered by ICR 16, which are in the possession of the state, have been disclosed to counsel for the defendant as of January 23rd, 2023. The materials consist of almost 1 to 995 pages numbered, audio and video and photos. So they've got a video. It looks like it appears to be one video, and it appears to be photos 01 to 1865. So we're knowing now that there's almost 2,000 photos that were acquired that is related to the first request, related to any statements Bryan has made to the prosecution either before or after his arrest. They're also requesting any written or recorded statements of co-defendant. Remember, we keep hearing co-defendant quite a bit in this, and it's made a lot of people uncomfortable. This co-defendant is now being drugged through this entire case, and we're wondering, is this a witness or is there truly a co-defendant? This could be very boilerplate because, you know, in a situation where you have a crime, you know, they may not be arresting a co-defendant because of the testimony that they will be getting, and it's more of a plea deal. If you testify in this case, we're not going to pursue any charges. So there is that possibility. And we keep hearing about this co-defendant. And it makes us wonder, is this standard for Idaho, or are they going to be alleging there is a second person other than Bryan Kohberger? We don't know. We don't know. That is speculative in nature. But co-defendant was in the original letter to the state, and it's also in the discovery request. And it says, again, any written or recorded statements of a co-defendant and the substance of any relevant oral statement made by co-defendant, whether before or after arrest, in response to the interrogation by any person known by the co-defendant to be a peace officer or agent of the prosecuting attorney, have been or will be disclosed or otherwise made available. And then their response is see Exhibit A, and they're saying we've turned this over. We just read the Exhibit A. Defendant's prior criminal record, if any, has been or will be disclosed or otherwise made available. Again, they're stating that Exhibit A states that they have made it available, the 1,000 pages of documents, the one video, and the 1,865 or 66 photos that they have in their possession. Any books, papers, documents, tangible objects, buildings, places, or copies or portions thereof, which are in the possession, custody, and control of the prosecuting attorney, and which are the materials to be to the preparation of the defense or intent for used by the prosecutors as evidence at trial, or obtained from or belonging to the defendant, have been or will be disclosed or otherwise made available. And they are writing see Exhibit A. So they're saying that part of that whole big package of paperwork, it is somewhere in there. In addition, deputies and officers from Latah County Sheriff's Office, Idaho State Police, Moscow Police Department, Idaho Fish and Game, and other law enforcement agencies may record their law enforcement contact via an audio recording or audio/video recorder. Any audio and video recording related to this matter are available for review and duplication on request, subject to provision ICR 16B9, pursuant to said subsection, and expects otherwise specified herein. Any other digital media is unredacted and may contain protected information. Thus, further distribution is restricted by ICR 16B9A unless the state provides express written consent or by order of the court. So that was their response. Any reports for physical and mental examinations, list of names and addresses of all persons having knowledge of relevant facts. So they're asking for the witness list. Any written summary report of testimony the state intends to introduce. Any reports and memorandums in possession of the prosecuting attorney. All materials and information within the prosecuting attorney's possession or control, which tends to negate the guilt of the accused as the offender charged, which tends to reduce the punishment before or therefore have been or will be disclosed and otherwise made available. And they're saying see Exhibit A. So it sounds like they sent everything over as part of that Exhibit A. I'm so proud of everything you do on here. Chat and mod, of course, BB mods. You don't get enough credit. I do appreciate you. Also love chatter. No drama. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Thank you, May May. Thank you, May. It took a long time for us not to have this much drama in this chat, but I had to restrict every single person's name imaginable. And after a year of blocking, I think we got the majority. It's going to take them a long time to get those accounts built back up because we blocked the majority of them. So, I mean, we still get ones that create the, you know, a new account just to come in here and be nasty. But, you know, again, that's on them, not on us. The existence of excuse me, to the extent that information exists regarding an informant. Ooh, to the extent that information exists regarding an informant who is not going to be produced as a witness, including recordings and or written statements from an informant or that identify an informant, such as information that is not subject to disclose, the state asserts informant privilege. I didn't know they had an informant privilege, but they're requesting anybody with informant, and they're saying, well, you know what? We're asserting our informant privilege. So that kind of makes, hi, Marja, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Danielle. Isn't that weird? So they can have informants that aren't even produced as witnesses, that they're not even required to disclose. I wonder if that goes in with the whole co-defendant. Interesting. Interesting. I don't want to run it by you. Danielle, you can send me an email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So they're talking about informants on here. So now we got on the stuff, co-defendants and informants. We're going to have to dive a little deeper into this one. But here, I mean, this is the stuff. So the state objects to requests by the defendant for anything not otherwise addressed above on the grounds such as requests are outside the scope of ICR 16 and are not subject to disclosure because they're work products and informants. So they're even addressing the informants again in their response. Huh. Interesting. Wherever the response indicates that certain evidence or material have been or will be disclosed or otherwise made available, such indication should not be construed as a confirmation that such evidence or materials exist, but simply as an indication that if such evidence or material exists, they have been or will be disclosed or made available to the defendant. Further, any items that are listed in Exhibit A but are not specifically provided or which are referenced to in documents which are listed in Exhibit A are available for inspection upon appointment from the prosecuting with the prosecuting attorney's office. Additionally, all property forms, chain of custody documents, and similar items are likewise available for inspection on appointment and are hereby deemed part of Exhibit A for the purposes of this response. 13, pursuant to ICR 16J of the state's, if the state subsequently discovers additional evidence or evidence of additional witnesses or decides to use additional evidence or witnesses, the state will promptly notify the defendant and the court. And this comes in, oh, thank you, Julie. God bless you. Let me go onto that side and see what that is. I can't see it over here. Ooh, we got one gifted membership. Blonde Gypsy was provided that gifted membership. Good morning. I see it. What does it say? I see one. It's cute. That's cute. I can't tell if it's a fox or a cat. But that's cute. Thank you. It looks like a fox, though. It looks like a fox. So nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted membership as well. God bless you. God bless you. So here's one of the things. This is for the discovery portion of it. Isn't this stuff interesting? Like, we're getting a lot of stuff off this, and I'm interested because now it has other topics of conversation, such as this informant and co-defendant. What? What? So it's interesting. Defendant's response to request for discovery. So it sounds like the state's also requesting documents. And the defendant's response to plaintiff's request for documents, here it is, comes now. Bryan Kohberger, Bryan through attorney for record, and C. Taylor, public defender. 1, there are no books, papers, documents, photographs, or copies or portions thereof in the possession of the defendant at this time, which would be submitted at the time of trial. Defendant may use any books, papers, documents, photographs, or copies or portions thereof which have been disclosed by the state in discovery material. 2, there are no results for or reports of physical, mental examination or scientific tests that are in the possession of the defendant at the time, which will be submitted at the time of trial. Defendants may use the results or reports of physical, mental examination or scientific tests which have been disclosed by the state in discovery material. The defendant may also call as a witness people that were disclosed as potential witnesses by the state and any other person who were named by the state within other discovery materials. When available, the defendant will provide the names and addresses of additional witnesses who will be called at trial on behalf of the defendant. So they have not provided the defendant witness list just yet. We're going to continue to go down. Motion for appeal and request to, we know about the motion to appeal. We also know that there's we're going to be going over that this morning as well. I finally caught Betty live. Usually I'm snoring and having fart wars with my dog. Nice. Informant. So Miss 9 says informant is standard rule for 16R2 at Bullhorn Betty. Well, thank you for that. But you know, it is bringing up a topic of conversation, though, Miss 9. You have to acknowledge it. I mean, this is not the first time we've heard of a co-defendant. This is the first time I've heard of an informant on any documents. I don't even think an informant was listed on that original letter from Ann Taylor, but a co-defendant was, which kind of made a lot of people out there on YouTube and social media kind of do the spin of, you know, who could this person be? And I, you know, and it was brought up by my mom, Mama Bullhorn, that any co-defendant might be his father. Because his father did travel 2,500 miles away to drive his adult son back home. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why did they just give Bryan Kohberger a plane ticket and send him back? It just seems odd. I'm curious about that. I'm very curious about that. We may never know. We truly may never know. So we have the memorandum in support of the motion, notice of appearance. We already know that. So defendant's first supplemental request for discovery, I think we did, that was one of the first things that we did. Yes, this was one of the first things that we looked at this morning because I was trying to get any updated information. Affidavit of Latah County Prosecutor, this might be in support of, you know, the gag order, which I just don't agree with. I mean, I understand their part. You know, their part is they are, you know, prosecuting and defense attorneys. Okay, I get that. But, you know, they're in like law enforcement, they look at different angles. They're not looking at the same angles the prosecuting and the defense attorneys are looking at. They're looking at stuff and following laws that deal with them and crime scene and stuff like that. But, you know, and they're worried about their laws related to that. We as the press, we as media, alternative media or otherwise, you know, we're looking at the law and what we're entitled to. We're not looking really at, you know, other things. You know, that's for the defense, that's for the judge, that's for the prosecutor, that's for them. What we're looking at, and even the detectives, how they process the crime scene, what laws they follow to make sure that they're doing their job right, is totally different from the laws that I follow to make sure I'm doing my job right. So, and we're going to be going over a little more about that because, you know, we need to start applying standards to the reporting, and we need to use those standards to hold everybody here on YouTube and other social medias accountable to their audience and what they say. So we're going to be going over that, not today, but another day, going over, you know, how to properly navigate stories and whether and how to apply standards to make sure that they're accurate and true. We will be going over that. But here is the affidavit of Latah County Prosecutor William W. Thompson, Jr. I, William W. Thompson, Jr., being duly sworn, do hereby state the following information is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. I'm the elected prosecutor for Latah County and have served in this position for approximately 30 years. In that role, I'm one of the attorneys representing the state in the above titled manner. The member of the Gonzalez family who are represented by Shannon Gray are potential witnesses in this case, including at trial and or sentencing. Further, your affiant saith not. Now, I disagree. Potential witnesses in the case. I do not believe that they would be construed, and this is why they were trying to say that gag order applied to the Gonzalez family. First of all, what are they going to testify to that is so detrimental to Bryan Kohberger's case? What, as a witness, as a potential witness, this is the kind of crap I hate seeing attorneys do, because this is a lie. And he lied under oath. And that's really not, in my opinion, not good. Now, granted, I know that you're trying to protect your case, but in my opinion, that is a flat out lie. Are they going to be potential witnesses in the case? To what? Just because they're called to the stand doesn't, how are they witnesses to the case? They don't know who Bryan Kohberger is. They weren't there at the time of the murder. All they can really attest to is why she was over at that house to begin with. There is nothing here. He was trying to silence the Gonzalez family, and I have a problem with that. You know, there's laws in place not governing us, but governing the people that we put in these offices. And this is really upsetting to me that he would say that, because he should have to state with specificity, not broad. Thank God that the judge has recanted and moved her position where the Gonzalez can talk through their attorney, which we know is happening because we already received confirmation from the Gonzalez family and from a statement on the Gonzalez family Facebook page. Inevitably, one side will lie. Both sides cannot be true. Exactly. But to label the Gonzalez family, they didn't even list their names. No specificity whatsoever. They literally list this in his affidavit that the Gonzalez family are represented by Mr. Shannon Gray, are potential witnesses in this case, including trial and or sentencing. They may be a victim. They may be able to provide a victim impact statement. And even if they are witnesses, they're not witnesses to the crime. They can only provide information about Kaylee Gonzalez. They can't provide additional information about Bryan Kohberger. They have none. They don't have none. Objection to motion to appeal amended clarify non-dissemination. Let's see who filed this. This looks like it was filed by, it's filed by the defense. Come now, Bryan Kohberger. So that tells me it was filed by the defense by and through their attorney, Weston Longston. So it's not even, Weston is the one that, Jay Weston is the one that prepared this objection to motion to appeal. The court order is not violative of Mr. Gray's First Amendment right. I beg to differ, and I think the higher courts beg to differ. I think maybe some of these attorneys need to understand what that, but you know what? They're just giving their opinion, and that's how they're able to hide under the veil, is because this is just their opinion of the facts, not necessarily that they're accurate, true, or correct. It's just their opinion based upon what they read. And here's what people don't know. So, for example, say I go to Westlaw. Westlaw does case law, and they have a lot of other stuff along with LexisNexis. And you go in here and you type something in, okay? You use your short keys and you type something in, like you're looking for paragraphs that have anything to do with non-dissemination, right? And you're going to see all the districts in your state, some and federal, if there was something on appeal with the federal government, that went to the Supreme Court or something like that, you're going to be getting all those case laws in, and you're going to have to read them. And there's going to be case law that goes for your cause and goes against your cause. So what do? Most attorneys, they only bring in what is favorable to them, leaving all the other stuff that's not favorable to them out of their motions and requests. So here they may have stuff that absolutely states that this goes completely against the heart or the spirit of the law, but they're not going to put that in their motion. They're not going to put that in their motion because it doesn't help them. Every now and again, you'll get a good attorney, and some of these attorneys will do it. We may actually read it here as well. And so what they'll do is they'll put their argument in. They'll put their case law in that supports their position, but they know that there's case law that doesn't support their position. And in a proactive measure will actually put that case law in that does not help their case, but explain why it doesn't apply to the case. So when the defense or whoever the opposing counsel is rebuts that, they will most likely have that case law that supports their position, but because it was explained away in that motion, it kind of becomes a moot point. So occasionally you'll find that, but most of the time you just find people that throw the case law that supports their position and doesn't address any of the stuff that doesn't support their position. So Mr. Gray contends that because his client, the Gonzalez family, are classified as non-party citizens, application of the court's non-dissemination order to him constitutes a prior restraint on his right or free speech under the First Amendment. In support of his position, Mr. Gray cites fair trial and public disclosure. We have to remember that. Fair trial and public disclosure. Yes, there are laws that the courts have to follow related to public disclosure because this is a public trial. Provision of the ABA Standards for Criminal Justice, IRPC 3.6, as well as other precedents. We talk about precedent established under Shepard versus Maxwell, and they go into that. It's in Nebraska Press Association versus Stewart. Now, this is again this is Nebraska. This is not something that's going on in Idaho. But when you need to, you have to stretch across states, especially if it was seen or heard before the U.S. Supreme Court. And they are also referencing Gentile and the Florida and the State Bar of Nevada, 50 U.S. 1030 1991. The issue at hand may be summarized as follows: whether application of non-dissemination order to an attorney representing the family of alleged murder victims constitutes an intolerable prior restraint on speech. The First Amendment prohibits laws abridging the freedom of speech, while the Sixth guarantees to criminal defense the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. But there's also a reason why our amendments are in the order that they're in. Your First Amendment is supreme to a Sixth Amendment. That's why they're in order. If personal property had more bearing and more weight than freedom of speech, personal property constitutional law would be number one, while freedom of speech would be further down the totem pole. That's what people don't understand. Your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, there's a reason they're in that order. They're not just willy-nilly put in order that way. They're in order for a purpose. Let's just keep going. Other such measures at issue here, as in Stewart, the court is presented with a confrontation between prior restraint imposed to protect one vital constitutional guarantee and the explicit command of another that the freedom to speak shall not be abridged. Stewart 427 U.S. at 570. Unlike in Stewart, however, the regulation at issue is to an attorney who may be subject to greater limitations than could be imposed on the press. You hear that? So they can't impose a whole lot on the press as they can their attorneys and judges and things of that nature. So let me read that again. Unlike in Stewart, however, the regulation at issue is as to an attorney who may be subject to greater limitations than could be imposed on the press. As the Supreme Court noted in Shepard, the court must take such steps by rule and regulation that will protect the processes from prejudicial outside interference. Neither prosecutors, counsel for the defense, the accused, witnesses, court staff, nor enforcement officers coming under the jurisdiction of the court should be permitted to frustrate its function. Collaboration between counsel and the press as to information affecting the fairness of the criminal trial is not only subject to regulation, but is highly censurable and worthy of disciplinary measures. So he's basically saying if this attorney wants to talk, we should hold him accountable. I'm sorry, that's to me a violation. I think it's a stretch is the problem that I'm seeing, as well as the press is seeing. They're trying to stretch across their authority. So, for example, if they are allowed to, if lawyers and investigators are not allowed to come and talk about the case to the press, then that's one thing. But what they're trying to do is saying, hey, we may not call these people as witnesses, but we're going to label them as witnesses so we can keep their mouth shut so they can't talk about what they know. That's a reach. You're reaching over, well over your authority and controlling people that have no information that can sway the jury one way or another related to whether Bryan Kohberger is guilty or innocent. And I think that that's what they're doing with the families of these victims. They're trying to include them as witnesses. They are not witnesses. They will never be witnesses. In this case, they witnessed nothing. And they're trying to reach. And you always hear that. They're reaching. And they're trying to reach. And like I said, I really don't believe that this case is going, when it goes to the higher courts, they're going to have a hard time explaining how no longer public trials. Yeah, they're trying to eliminate the public out of this. Look, the bottom line is the defense has to get everything, and so does the prosecution. It doesn't change. Whether the venue changes or not, the prosecution has to turn everything over within reason, within the law, to the defense and likewise. How is us knowing about it going to preclude that from happening? How is us talking about that going to preclude it from happening? Because they don't want us speculating? Oh, they don't want us to think? Oh, so we can't talk about this public trial, even though it's public, and we're not allowed to have thought or opinion on the information either? And that does not sound like that's restrictive, overly broad, vague, and a violation of our First Amendment? Doesn't seem that way at all to me. Somehow our judicial process that's been going on since the birth of our government seems to all of a sudden in 2023 stop working. Somehow in 2023, because press is talking about a case, somehow the defense is not going to get a fair trial. Doesn't make sense to me. How is my opinion going to affect 12 jurors? How is me talking about a DoorDash receipt going to affect whether Bryan Kohberger gets a fair trial? How does that make sense? keep going. The speech of lawyers representing clients in pending cases may be regulated under less demanding standard. Yeah, less demanding. Get that through your thick skull. Less demanding standard than established for regulations of the press in Stewart and the case which preceded it. Lawyers representing, I need to get my glasses on. It's hard to read this. Lawyers representing clients in pending cases are key participants in the criminal justice system, and the state may demand some adherence to the precepts of the system in regulation of their speech as well as their conduct. The speech of lawyers representing clients in pending cases. Yeah. You know who the pending clients in the Bryan Kohberger case are? Who are the clients? The state of Idaho and Bryan Kohberger. It doesn't say the state of Idaho, the Gonzalez family, the Chapin family, the Mogan family, the Kernodle family, FBI, state police. It doesn't say that. It says the state of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. So those would be the clients in the pending case. I don't know where they think it goes outside of that, but apparently this particular lawyer believes that. In Gentile 504 U.S. at 1074, in an attempt to exclude himself from these holdings, Mr. Gray argues that because his clients are not parties to the case and therefore are not subject to the order. See memorandum page 3, number 6 through 8. He too is due to equal measure of defense and exclusion. The weight of authority is contrary to this position. He's not a person or a party to this case. And then their final argument here, where they actually bring in an Idaho law, is in Idaho State Bar versus TAP. Thank you for getting one that's from your state. 129 Idaho 14 925. So second district, the district that they're in, 113. So they have one case law related to this, or they precluded all other case law that was in their area because it didn't jive with their argument. In this one, the Idaho Supreme Court made clear that the court must strike a reasonable balance between the right of freedom of speech and the state's legitimate interest in preserving the integrity of the judicial system. Let's read that again, because clearly nobody in this case understands that, right? This Idaho law makes it clear the court must strike a balance. A balance. That means what's fair for the public is fair for the courts. A balance. Not tipping the scales. A balance. A balance. They're required to have a balance. Right now, it is not balanced. It's unfair to the public. That is not balanced. They are required under this court law that they're using as a standard for why they want to violate people's rights. And they're saying right here, the courts, and this is from the Idaho Supreme Court, they have made it very clear that they are required to strike a reasonable balance. This is not reasonable what they are doing, cutting the entire public out of the process. That's unreasonable. That's not striking a reasonable balance. That's striking an unreasonable balance, in my opinion. So again, it comes back to that second district with the whole Associated Press and everything like that. I truly just don't believe that they're following or applying the law correctly. I'm glad it's going to a higher court. I hope that higher court sends it back down with some major instructions for this judge that seems to be, exceeding her authority. And when you got judges exceeding their authority, it makes you very uncomfortable related to the fairness of the case, not because the press is involved, but because the judge doesn't know how to read the law and apply it fairly. That's the problem I'm having, Because if you're having problems discussing these preliminary issues and dealing with them fairly, what do you think is going to happen in that courtroom? It'll be an unfair trial. If this loses its venue, it's not going to hurt my feelings, to be honest with you. If they have to change venue and go 300 miles away, it's not going to hurt my feelings nor anybody else's feelings across this country. Quite frankly, Judge Marshall has me very concerned whether she has the ability to preside over this case, because she's making fatal decisions now. And that is my opinion. And I'm allowed and entitled to have that opinion. But you guys can make your own decision. I'm just giving you all the information and reading it to you so you have all the facts for yourself to make your assumptions and theories and opinions about this case. We all don't think the same. And you may process this information much differently than I process this information. The lawyers versus non-lawyer distinction is recognized broadly elsewhere, even in cases where the speaker attorney claims not to be involved in the case in question. In Ray, Good 81 F, this is the 3rd District, 553, 5th, I don't know what this is, 2016. The 5th Circuit of Appeals considered whether an attorney who routinely communicated with and occasionally passed notes to the defense could be sanctioned for violation of non-dissemination. Nobody's passing information over to the defense. I can tell you that. And even if somebody did, they're entitled to it. They can have it. Stuff is just this is attorneys. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think there's a lot of wasted time with this whole non-dissemination garbage. It's taking a lot of judicial resources, and it should be open to the public, plain and simple. Plain and simple. It should be available to the public. This is of great public concern. Great public concern. So now we're going to get down to motion to unseal records. I think we did get that one already received. Let me see if this is attached. No, this is just a come now the counsels for Shannon Gray is filing motions in here. He wants this case opened up. He is sick and tired of his clients being blocked out. Their child was murdered, by the way. Kaylee Gonzalez. The Gonzalez family lost a child that had just graduated, just purchased a brand new vehicle all by herself a couple days before she was slain to death for no apparent reason. And now law enforcement has blocked the family out. Now the courts are trying to block the family out. And the Gonzalez family and the rest of these family are just trying to find out what happened to their children. And they are being fought by the courts. They're being fought by law enforcement. They're being fought every time they turn around. And they're just trying to get some information about their loved one. I'm sorry. This is overreaching. This is overreaching. This is overreaching on steroids, in my opinion. I don't care what guru out there says that this is okay. This is not okay. This is not okay lawfully. This is not okay in the press. This is not okay. And now you know why there are 30 news organizations pushing this up to a higher court, saying this judge is making horrible rules, and they're going to have a higher court determine that. Is right. Yeah, exactly. Trigger Happy. Great point. Trigger Happy says the trial hasn't even started, and I'm already tired of hearing his name and his rights. He gave up his rights when he slaughtered 4 innocent humans. Yes, I know. I'm speaking from the heart only. I get you. I get you, Trigger Happy. Trust me. I feel the same frustration and aggravation as you do. I really, really do. So, going through this, and we're going to probably I'm going to be opening these things up, and I'm going to be going through these things with a fine-tooth comb, and we're going to start talking about this stuff in here. Now, we're going to go through here because we have orders to seal, and maybe some of this stuff will help us identify just the orders. Now, granted, we're not going to have the information related to them, but hey, you know what? At least we might have some ideas of what they're doing. Maybe we can use our deductive reasoning. We can use our problem solving, our critical thinking in figuring out where this is going. Now, granted, it's speculative in nature. What I'm showing you here is the true facts. If you guys want to take those facts and make your own theories, you're entitled to. Despite what Vanity Fair says, you guys are entitled to do that. I just want to let you know. Okay? I want to let you know that you are entitled to do that. So in this order to seal, it says this matter before the court, February 10th, the court on this court's motion to seal or redact pursuant to this. And this this hearing will be held via Zoom. William Thompson, Ashley Jennings appear on behalf of the state, and Taylor on behalf of the Bryan Kohberger. The court reviewed records, considered arguments presented, weighed the interest in privacy and public disclosure, and announced its finding of fact on the record. Therefore, pursuant to ICAR 32I2A and D and IC section 74-1241C, the court finds it necessary to seal the records related to the search warrant for the following reasons. The documents contain highly intimate facts or statements, the publication of which would be highly objectionable to a reasonable person. The document contains facts or statements that might threaten the safety and endanger. So what would the less restrictive measure be before this order to seal? What would be the less restrictive avenue to take? Let me tell you. And this is where they're going to have problems overcoming in the higher state. They have the ability to redact all the stuff that they're concerned about that causes anything to threaten the safety or endanger the life of an individual. The invasion of privacy. Guess what they have at their disposal that is less restrictive? Redaction. Redaction. Even if they had the whole thing blacked out because they feel that is still less restrictive than blocking people completely out. And that's where they're going to have the hurdle, in my opinion, at the Supreme Court, Idaho Supreme Court. They're going to ask them, is there less restrictive measures? And they're going to have to say yes. They're going to have to say yes. Because everything they're saying here could be fixed by redacting, blocking those things out like we've seen in the past. So that didn't tell me a whole lot. Let's see if this one tells me more. So they're not listing. Oh, let me go back. I think I didn't go far enough. Hold on. I think there's additional pages. Hold on. Let me go to the first one. I don't think I went all the way through. So based on the motion for a search warrant related to the documents, motion to seal search warrant and related documents, the state of Idaho by and through Latah County Attorney respectfully moves the court, blah, 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 blah. The order herein, because the disclosure would interfere with enforcement proceedings, constitute unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. What do you think a public trial is? It is the absolute invasion of your personal information. Every time you go to court, every time you have a court order, it's registered, it's public record. It's irritating, and they know this. But the layman person out there, the lay person out there has no idea about this and just says, the judge ordered it, it must be legal, right? Because the judge did it, it must be legal. No. Here's just Samantha. Steve Gonsalves makes me nervous, though. If I was one of the other parents, I would be worried he says something he shouldn't, even if by accident. He, in all fairness, he was the one helped driving this investigation. His family was doing leaps and bounds and sending evidence to the law enforcement counterparts. I'm sorry. He and his family did an amazing job for not just his daughter, all those victims, whether the other families appreciate it or not. I can tell you, if it wasn't for the Gonsalves family, we would be still scratching our butts trying to figure out who did this. They're the ones that located the Twitch, the Grubhub truck. They're the ones that identified where they were and exactly what time they came home. They're the ones that found the video showing their daughter being dropped off and knew exactly what time they arrived at that home. That wasn't law enforcement. That was the Gonzalez family. Law enforcement was literally telling the Gonzalez family to slow down, that they're going to get there. They just haven't gotten there yet, that they need to slow down, that they're running basically circles around law enforcement because law enforcement has to do this in such a way. Whereas, I'm sorry, there's nothing. Everything that this family did, I would say, is right. And you know what? This is his child. This is his child. His child. This is not the state of Idaho's child. This is not Ann Taylor's child. This is not Will Thompson's child. This is Steve Gonzalez's child. And I'll be damned if somebody's going to tell me what I can and cannot do when it comes to my child. If he wants something to say, I think he's earned that spot. I think he's earned that spot. He lost a child. So far as I'm concerned, everybody bitching about whether he can talk or not about his own freaking child have it as not sitting in his position and are not wearing his shoes. And if anything I can do to help bring awareness to this, I will. Their family is amazing. I've got nothing bad to say about the Gonzalez family whatsoever. No, I didn't make shrimp scampi last night. I will. Oh, is it? I see. I haven't had a chance to watch Dolly. I'll pop in there and I'll say, hey guys, good to see you. You know, it's always nice to hear and see from a friend, especially I'm sure he's like me. Like we don't really talk to a whole lot of people unless it's you. So every now and again to chat with a friend, you know, it's just nice. It's really nice. If I went missing, I'd like my family to get Steve and Olivia and you on the case. I know, right? Olivia was amazing, you know, and she was pregnant. I can't even imagine how hard this was. And I remember asking her, you know, how is she doing it? And she just looked at me and she said, I'm pissed. That's what's driving me right now. That's what she said. I'm pissed. Like she just let her in a room with Bryan Kohberger. I'm telling you, Olivia is a beautiful person. Kaylee and Maddie were so lucky to have the Gonzalez family, all of them. Christy, Steve, Olivia. They are just one amazing. Autumn. What's the other one? I can't remember. It's she's got two other sisters, two younger sisters. One of them's Autumn. And I can't remember the youngest, but just a big, beautiful, amazing family that loved life and loved people and loved their community and loved to do good. The victim's family are not parties to the case, period. Exactly. And they should never have been put through this. This is adding insult to injury. And you know what? Aubrey, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Autumn and Aubrey. And which we didn't meet Autumn and Aubrey. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we didn't personally meet them like at the private celebration of life for Maddie and Kaylee that the Gonzalez family did at the church that we were invited to. That was the first time I saw them. And actually, I was able to talk to Jack D. I went up there and said, you know, Jack, I just wanted to give you a hug. You know, I know that you probably got the brunt of all of this. I wanted to let you know that I believed in you and that we did everything that we could to help, you know, stop some of the harassment that you were getting because we knew. I mean, we didn't know who, but we knew it couldn't have been them. It didn't have the feel. It didn't have the vibe. It had nothing to do with those young kids. And again, we were one of the first people over at Wazoo. I can tell you as far as news and anything else, we were the first people that brought the idea that the student could be at Washington State University. And it was only literally a day and a half after we didn't know at the time, but after they started looking at Bryan Kohberger. And sure enough, he was literally half a mile from where I stood. So we're going to go over this, but I need to just take a small little break. I've been drinking way too much coffee. So guys, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put this up on here and I will be right back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I promise. So I'm going to mute. There we go. All right. So now getting back to this, we've got all these orders to seal, I don't know what they are. I'm going to go through them, but getting to something, because I want to get on and we're already over an hour talking about some of this stuff, but I want to show you what all they have. What is their evidence? We've been talking about the Alec Murdaugh case because it's the one, shake that tail. Oh, Lord. Trigger happy that Gonzalez's family will be a force to be reckoned with in the realm of victims' rights in the future. You can bet on that. You damn right. And I support whatever they do, and I will be happy to broadcast that because they made some valid points to me when I was there meeting with them. But let's look at all the stuff. Now, listen, guys. We talked about the Alec Murdaugh case. We talked about the Alec Murdaugh case and all the information that they had to follow Alec Murdaugh the day that his wife and son were killed. And that sealed the fate for me. Good morning, Betty. Keep up the fabulous work. Keep doing everything you do. Thank you, Shannon. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Ashley Lee, nice to see you as well. Guys, don't forget, we have 322 people in the chat this morning, this early Saturday morning. So don't forget to hit the like button on your way in or on your way out. This is a lot of information, but look at this stuff that they are redacting and ordering to seal. The Amazon, what could he have possibly ordered through Amazon? American Express, they're looking at his credit cards. Apple, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different Apple. There's just an order to seal on the 28th too. AT&T, Bank of America, Banner Ban. I don't know what Banner Ban is. Block, Blue Ridge Knives. Let's look at Blue Ridge Knives. That's an interesting. Ooh. Wow. Wow. So did Blue Ridge Knives sell Bryan Kohberger his knife? As the owner of the store that specializes in providing people with tactical equipment, it's your job to stock up on military and tactical gear people need to protect themselves. Blue Ridge Knives can help you do it by serving as your supplier of wholesale military and tactical knives, including Tanto, Kukri, Shaw knives. I don't know how to pronounce them. We're leading distributor of tactical knives and carry large selections of knives for dealer who count on us for them. Interesting. Let's keep going. This has been interesting. This has been a very productive meeting. So Blue Ridge Knives, Charter Communications, we know that that's most likely internet. We got order to redact, Coeur d'Alene Police Department Forensic Lab, Discovery Bank. So we got some credit cards on here. We've got Dropbox. If people don't know what Dropbox is, it's basically a file. It's a filing system. Dropbox is basically a filing system. It's a digital filing cabinet. It's a digital filing cabinet. He also has a couple of eBay items redacted. Elan Financial Services, Idaho Central Credit Union, Idaho Department of Labor. Maybe they're wanting to see if he's worked anywhere else. I think I read Blue Ridge as a wholesale only, like sellers from small. They like for selling to small businesses. Yeah, I'm getting that. But there's a reason why they have them searched and the information redacted. So something might be there. Numerica Credit Union, Potlatch #1 Financial Credit Union. So there seems to be a lot of banks and Wells Fargo. Order to redact and unseal. And this is the one that I think we just recently got. And this is regarding this matter, having weighed the interests of private and public disclosure, the court finds it prudent to unseal the records related to the status hearing on the 27th. And we actually received this several days ago and actually read it to the public. And this was related to whether she had a conflict of interest that arose from her possible representation of Kara Kernodle, which is Xana Kernodle's mom. So they unsealed that, and we've got that. But look at all this other stuff that they've got. Order to seal Verizon Wireless. Order to seal Wazoo. Order to seal and redact the DoorDash. Extreme Networks. So Extreme Networks, if you guys remember, that is where Kaylee Gonzalez worked. Extreme Networks. Order to seal and redact DoorDash. Okay, Google, Inland Cellular. Look at that. Order to seal and redact K-Bar Knives Inc. K-Bar Knives Inc. Match Group LLC. Order to seal and redact. Let's see what Match Group LLC is. Match Group is an American internet and technology company headquartered in Dallas, Texas. It's owned and operated the largest global portfolio of online dating services, including Tinder, Match.com, Meetic, OkCupid, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, and Our Time, among a total of 45 global dating companies. So they're actually looking into dating companies, and they've got 5 of them here for seal. Meta platforms. We know Meta platforms. Many of you guys may not know what Meta platforms are. It is Facebook. Meta platforms is Facebook. So they've got several of them ordered from there. Moscow Police Department Forensic Lab, PayPal, Venmo, Reddit, Snapchat, T-Mobile, United States Postal Service, Verizon Wireless, Walmart, Yahoo, Yik Yak, Google, and Google. Let's see if we can get any information off this. I keep using the same boilerplate discussions. It's just irritating. It's irritating, and nothing really tells us what it is. The documents are highly intimate facts or statements. It's all public record. It's going to be coming out. This whole nonsense about it being. Let's read here. It interferes with the enforcement proceedings. How? How? Constitutes unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. But it's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's identifying, it discloses the identity of a confidential source. That's new. I didn't know Google was a confidential source. Disclose investigative techniques and procedures. What do you think you do every time you go to trial and have to explain how you got from point A to point B? You disclose investigative techniques and procedures. We just learned about them. Meta is Facebook, Instagram. Thank you, Miss Nine. We just watched the Murdaugh trial. You cannot tell me they did not disclose exactly to us. There's very specific investigative techniques and procedures. As a matter of fact, those investigative techniques and procedures were under a microscope in that proceeding. I'm just breaking it down to you guys on the real. I'm serious. Like they're arguing this stuff, but let's break it down on the real. We're going to learn of all this in trial. Every bit of this stuff is going to be brought up. And so here it is, the Associated Press versus the Second Judicial District right here. And so we're just going through here to see what they have. They did have a motion to leave to file consolidated responses because it sounds like there was several consolidated. There were several, we have 30 news organizations, but the intervener, Bryan Kohberger's brief in response to petition, I did want to read this to you guys so we can kind of have a little bit of an understanding, but it's quite long, as you can imagine. You know what? Actually, it is so long. This will probably be all by itself tomorrow. We'll go over all this by yourself. But guys, don't forget to tell your family and friends that we're breaking down the Bryan Kohberger case. We've got access to the docket. We got access to the forms that they are releasing to the public. We are going to be monitoring this case as well as the case of the Associated Press in the Second Judicial District. And look at this. This is what's coming up. The state of Idaho versus Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. So we're going to be coming up to that very, very soon. I've got that on the list here. And we're going to be covering these cases too and going through all the stuff that is in this file. We know that they just recently ordered to split them up and sever them so they can have their own separate trials as opposed to having the trials together. Excuse me, I keep having hiccups. That's driving me nuts this morning. So we're going to be going into all of that, but I am working on, for those that are following the Bullhorn Betty channel, you guys know we're bringing everybody up to speed in this particular case. We're the classic and Cincere case, Orrin West, Orson West. The parents are going to trial. Trezell and Jacqueline West are going to trial for the murder of these two boys on March 20th. They reported these boys missing on December 21st, 2020. So I'm working on videos right now that are going to be put up. If you guys are interested in this case, and I showed the video twice to the audience in the live. It did not produce that well in the video section of the channel. So I'm going to be adding more videos today for those that are watching the Orrin Orson West case and may have forgotten some details. We're going back to the beginning. We just released a video of the original statement of the Wests, Trezell and Jacqueline, to the media. We just did that. Now we're moving on. That happened on the 23rd. We talked about it from the 21st to the 23rd, all the things that transpired. And now we're doing it from the 23rd through the 29th. And like I said, we're just going to be we're bringing you guys full circle. We're taking you from the beginning and bringing you up to today's time. And then we're going to end up going into the trial and watching the trial proceedings that are going to go on in this case. There is some problems primarily with the Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow case in Idaho. It's very upsetting to me, but I heard that the judge has ordered no media whatsoever. I think that's truly a violation of people's rights. It is a public trial. It should be disclosed to the public. But I found out that they are not going to have any live coverage of that case, which I think is a travesty. I truly think it's a travesty. And I think people have a right to know what happened. So I'm not sure how we're going to handle that particular case, but I did find out that unless you're there, we're not going to be getting any coverage on that case. So if somebody is in Idaho, if somebody's in the area and you would like to be our correspondent in Idaho and can take the time off for the trial, please reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'll be happy to send you, we'll have to do some things, but I'm happy to send you some press credentials, that are temporary in nature, and, file any kind of request with the courts that need to be done. But if you guys are interested, if I can just have one person or two people that kind of report back to the Bullhorn Betty channel related to this case, it might help, so I don't have to spend the additional funds to go out there to cover this case. It might be beneficial to this channel. But hey, if you guys want to send me out to cover this case in person, you know how to do it. You guys can put Daybell Vallow on any kind of funds that come in. If you guys would like this, there it is. Support the next project, Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. If it's, again, it's all up to you. This is, I'm just the talking head on this channel, but this channel is ran by you guys. So if you guys want me out there, then just let me know, and I'll start getting a budget together and seeing what it's going to cost to get us out there. We can make the decision from that. Otherwise, maybe we can have a correspondent out there that feeds us information that can help us with our lives here, and just go live with us and tell us what's transpired in the courtroom, what's going on and everything like that. That would be really a blessing as well. We're happy to do that. It's just anything that you can do to help. So I'll let you guys figure that out. We're at the top of the hour. We're not quite to 2 hours yet, but quite frankly, I've got a lot of stuff, as you can imagine, that I've got to go through and research, but there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of information here on some top cases. We got the Kohberger case that's in here. We've got the Associated Press versus the Second District that's challenging Judge Marshall in the Kohberger case to release more, to quit sealing everything. They're using boilerplate responses to seal this stuff without doing the actual the test. The judge is not forcing them to take the test to make sure that it rises to the level. They only have to allege that it does. And I'm sorry, this is a very big, powerful case, and we need this judge firing on all cylinders. And if we have a right to have that information, we deserve to have that information and not have some stupid lie prevent us from having it. And some of the stuff I'm seeing these attorneys put in here are flat out lies, and I don't like it. And it's unprofessional. It's unprofessional. And I really do hope the state of Idaho Supreme Court corrects Judge Marshall's position. And only time will tell, but I really do not believe it rises to legal muster. They have less restrictive means to handle some of these documents. We've been doing this for a really long time. This is very, very strict, and there's no need for it. There are less restrictive means, and that's what we're trying to convey. So guys, we love you. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. I'm very, very sorry. There's a lot of work that we have to do with this entire file. So we make sure that we're getting you guys all the factual information out. Now, again, we have an interactive group here. Karen used her milestone 2 months. Oh, let me get some shout outs here. I'm sorry. I on this side, I don't see a whole lot. So we have Karen. Oh, that's so sweet. So Sepsis Kills just gifted 5 memberships. And Karen said, "Hi Betty, Bryan ordered the knife used on Amazon." Nice. Okay, so we're getting a little closer. We're getting a little closer to being able to determine what is going on. I knew that he had to order it somewhere because we're looking at financial stuff. We're looking at internet stuff. We're looking, they're withholding, 2 major companies, this Blue Ridge Knife Company as well as K-Bar Inc. Is on here, that they're sealing that information. And Karen, thank you so much for being a 2-month member. Again, Emma, Sepsis Kills, thank you, Love Bug, for the 5 gift memberships. For those that got gifted memberships, I'm going to read your name. Be sure to tell our beloved Sepsis Kills, thank you for her gift. And the people that were afforded the gift membership, Pat Gaines, congratulations, love. ALW, Mimi's Mystery, Karen G, and Jones in. I don't know if I'm thinking this Jones in is the one that's been making all those horrible videos about me. And if that's the case, I can tell you your membership will not be lasting very long. If you're not, then you're cool. But if you hate me so much, why are you following me? Just saying. But it may not be this person. But everybody that got a gifted membership, please be sure to tell Sepsis Kills, Emma, thank you so very much. God bless you for supporting this channel and making this channel a better place for all users on here. So anyways, guys, I just want to let you go, but know that we are we're getting into everything with the Kohberger case. We are going to find something. Look how much we've learned so far. We know now all the places that they have been searching. We know all the places that they're searching. We know what kind of, if nothing more, right? If nothing more, we know what kinds of information they have available. We know now that they have the phone records. We know now they have the social media records. We now know that they have the financial records. They have his past ordering history, right? Among other things, we even have the Coeur d'Alene Forensic Lab. We have the Moscow Forensic Lab on here. We've got credit unions. We got eBay. So eBay and Amazon, those are usually, the one thing I don't see on here is like Walmart. It's like everybody orders something from Walmart. But I don't see Walmart on here for some reason. Maybe he didn't order from Walmart. We even have Extreme Networks as well as Inland Cellular. We have Match.com and all the other. Walmart was there. Was it there? I didn't see Walmart on here. Everybody buys something from Walmart. But I didn't see Walmart on here. I don't see Walmart on here. I'll have to go back through it. Ah, you're right. Walmart is on there. Good catch, Jennifer. Good catch. We got Reddit. But the dating sites, we have 5 up here on the dating sites. Does that mean the girls were on the dating sites, or is this for Bryan Kohberger? Right? Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. So they have a lot. At least we now know that they have dove into his life. Now, the one thing that I don't see, hold on. Don't kill me yet. Don't kill me yet. I did just think of something, and this comes right back to the Alec Murdaugh trial. You know what I don't see on here? Let me make sure. They don't have back yet. I know what they don't have back yet. Guess what they don't have back yet? They have no OnStar order to seal or redact, and no Hyundai order to redact. So the car, all the stuff with the car hasn't been ordered to be sealed or redacted yet. So they must not have anything related unless it's part of the Moscow Department Forensic Lab or the Coeur d'Alene Forensic Lab, which I don't think it would be. I think because it was in Pennsylvania that it would be an FBI type of forensic lab reports. I could be wrong. Or Pennsylvania. Those are not in this docket either. Those are not in this docket either. So everything related to the car, the system, the black box, the computer, the OnStar data, none of that is listed here to be sealed or redacted. So we still have the vehicle stuff that hasn't been added to the docket yet. So, oh, thank you, Kimberly. God bless you. God bless you. Hyundai is not OnStar. They have their own system. Well, either way, whatever system they do have, it's none of that stuff is ordered to seal or be redacted in the docket. So we still have other stuff that's going to be coming out. This is not it in its entirety, but they're doing some due. They're gonna. I'm telling you, they got the right guy. They got the right guy. I don't know why I feel that. You know, that's my rumor and misinformation to my audience, is I believe they have the right guy. It's rumored, allegedly, and it's confirmed. My theory is confirmed by him being arrested and in jail. It's only rumor, right? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord. Oh, I see Ann. Miss Horn. Hey, Ann. Hey, Miss Ann. How about his phone tracking records? Is that, yeah. Verizon, T-Mobile, they're all on here. Social media, even the post office. Even the post office is on here. What is Yik Yak? I don't know what the heck Yik Yak is. Hold on. Yik Yak Inc. Yik Yak is a pseudonymous social media smart application that initially launched in 2013 and relaunched in 2021. The app, which is available for ISO and Android, allows people to create and view discussion threads within a 5-mile radius. Woo! That gave me goosebumps. I never heard of that before. I'm going to have to sign up for this and find out what the heck it is. Let me read that again. Yik Yak is a pseudonymous social media smartphone application that initially launched in 2013 and relaunched in 2021. The app, which is available for iOS and Android, allows people to create and view discussion threads within a 5-mile radius. Was he watching? This might have been part of his spying technique. I don't know. Never heard of that company before. So anyways, guys. Let me get back to it. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This is the end of the day for me. Well, I still got a whole day ahead of me, but this is the end of the day for us. I'm going to be doing some videos today, bringing us all up to speed with the West case. So when we start watching that trial going forward, we know Busted Biscuit. I love that name, Busted Biscuit. Well, Busted Biscuit, you missed it. You'll have to go back and watch the replay of this. There's lots of great information here, too. We went over the docket. We're going to continue to go over the docket. I discussed what I see on there, and I discussed, more importantly, what I did not see. Nothing related to the car has been sealed or redacted. That means the information, in my opinion, have not made it to the experts yet, have not been presented to the courts. So we'll see where all of that stuff is going. But we're monitoring this. We're monitoring that. We're also monitoring this, the press, the Associated Press versus the judge's order on the non-dissemination of documents and the need for the public. So I don't know how the Supreme Court of the state is going to rule on that. I just really personally, and I could be wrong. It's not that I'm right about all these, and it really is legal precedent. And it really is, legal argument. It really is the case law that's going to dictate what the Supreme Court will and will not do related to that non-dissemination order. But the way I'm sitting and the way I feel about this and what I've read related to case law and precedent, I just don't think this is going to rise to legal muster. That there's less restrictive measures that Judge Marshall can instill and put in place that would be more fair for everyone as opposed to just one-sided. So hopefully, through that, it'll kind of, whatever needs to be done will be done. And I believe they'll give clear instruction to Judge Marshall and how she proceeds forward. So anyways, guys, I just want you to know that we are here. We're working on it. We're really diving in. And now that I have access to this docket, I'm going to be monitoring it religiously for any new changes. I can tell you we're not going to do really a whole lot with it this weekend. Other than me going through it and maybe having some talking points or something that we may want to clarify or dive into a little deeper, maybe theorize on based on what is in it. Those are going to be maybe possible types of things that we will discuss in this case. But for the most part, we're just going to be looking at this docket. But I can tell you this weekend, because it's Saturday, there's not going to be a whole lot of filings over the weekend. It just doesn't work that way. So the soonest possible of us finding out about a filing is probably on Tuesday of next week. And that will be where I start looking and start monitoring this docket again. So if there's any new information, now remember, we have to monitor that docket all day long because there could be something that's filed into it later in the day. If we're looking at it only in the morning, that means we're missing a great opportunity to get some breaking information out to each and every one of you. So I will be monitoring that. Stay here to the Bullhorn Betty channel, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe this channel. And don't keep Bullhorn Betty a secret. We travel the country. I've made several tours out here to Moscow, Idaho, covering this case. And the one thing we didn't do is we didn't accuse the kids, their friends, their inner circle of having anything to do with this. And as a matter of fact, the first minute I stepped on that property, I did just the opposite. I went straight to my live and told everybody there is no way these kids, these college kids that they're hanging out with did this. This had much more sinister feeling to me. And I identified that person, and we became very, very close to the identity of Bryan Kohberger with the description I provided. And God bless that. God bless the opportunity I had to go out there and make a difference and bring this story back to each and every one of you. I had an opportunity and I took it. And here we are. And I'll still be working on the full video of the Gonzalez. So we're going to be working on the full video of the Gonzalez. I haven't quite done it because there's a lot of stuff I have to cut out that was off the record. And that's what's been preventing me, because I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to go through an entire hour of an interview and get it all cropped out and cut out that the stuff that didn't need to be there. And then I got to jazz it up. So anyways, we'll get to it. I promise. We're going to be working on it. We're working. We're behind the 8 ball. But again, all I can do is take one thing off the list at a time. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I hope to see you guys here this afternoon as I throw out some videos on the West case, on the Kohberger case. And I'm going to be throwing these videos out all day, every day for the next few weeks. So don't forget to change that bell to all if you don't want to miss a thing. God bless each and every one of you. Till next time, please be safe.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.